Happier. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today for the world's largest fuel truck. Look at this freaking beast. Shout out to Vince. He literally just sent me this a couple hours ago. It's got almost 2 million views, which is pretty good for a fuel truck video. Okay, not a lot of videos about a fuel truck have 2 million views. So I need to watch this. I mean, just looking at that picture, it's ridiculous. Let's check it out.
This efficient form of road transport has been left in the shade.
Geraldton, shout out to
West of
Geraldton.
Australia, where in a marriage of convenience between operators and the state government legislators, legal loads of upwards of 145,000 litres are being carried with gross weights of more than 170 tonnes.
I love the name Road Train.
One company operating at the forefront of this technology is Mitchell Fuel.
And what year is this even from? I love the old Australian vibes going on here.
Mitchell Fuel
Sure.
is headquartered in the quiet coastal town of Geraldton, about 400 kilometres north of the state's capital, Perth. Mark Cale helps organise the complex web of fuel deliveries.
Why is it that I would be able to tell you? I'd be able to tell you these two blokes were Aussies just by looking at them. And I don't know what it is.
Mark Cale helps organise the complex web of fuel deliveries.
We run from right down to Perth up to Port Ellen. We're just about to take over Port Ellen depot up there now. We run right up to Mount Magnet, out to Maluna, Eagle Mining out there, up to Newman, up to Plutonic, all up there, yeah, right up to all out Port Ellen, down to Exmouth, Carnarvon.
The transport web of Mitchell Fuels stretches over most of remote Western Australia. The company supplies fuel and lubricants to towns, communities, wheat farms, sheep and cattle stations throughout the state. This 4-trailer unit, pulled by a tri-drive Kenworth T950 prime mover, is loading diesel for a trip to gold mines in the remote Western Australian desert.
How many years of training do you need to drive one of these suckers?
Its configuration,
Especially one packed with fuel.
along with a concessional loading permit from the
I mean, how long does it take to come to a stop? How long does it take? What's the 0 to 60 on this thing?
Western Australian government, allows the high load capacity that makes efficient delivery of energy to remote centres possible. The truck spreads the enormous weight evenly to the road surface through a series of triple-axle groupings throughout the truck.
Kenworth's single steer, but they have got tri-drive, which means we can actually pull a lot more weight with the tri-drive than a bogey drive truck.
Bogey drive.
We've got all tri-dollies and tri-axle.
God, how often do you pop a tire with this, though? You got 400 tires on it. By my math, I mean, I pop a tire once every couple of years, so by my math, that means you pop a tire like once a week with this thing.
all through the whole outfit.
In effect,
I'm sure they keep, like, this thing is so, it's kind of a it's obviously a huge hazard to have this. It's like an airplane, is what I'm saying. They probably check the maintenance on this thing very closely.
the outfit consists of a conventional 40,000-litre barrel as lead trailer, a B-double on a triple-axle dolly hooked on behind the lead, and a conventional 40,000-litre trailer
Just when you think it's done, another trailer.
bringing up the rear, also on a tri-axle dolly.
It's a triple with an A-trailer put in the middle, added onto it. So yeah, quite a long outfit. Good for steering.
You can tell this guy, he's been around it for way too many years to even, well, he's not old or anything, but he's like, yeah, it's a triple or whatever.
And going around corners and actual turning circles are good.
I'm
It's
like amazed just looking at it.
bigger outfit than the double B-doubles being used elsewhere.
Overall length, it's probably about the same, 53.5 metres, but they actually carry a lot more fuel.
So that was the fuel tank for the actual truck. God damn, I wonder how big that tank is.
The same, 53.5 metres.
It almost looks like, you know, all these tanks attached to it would be required to drive this thing. You know what I mean? That's just the fuel tank for it.
But they actually carry a lot more fuel.
What's the mile per gallon on this
The
thing?
road train is loaded. It's time to head out, and we're going on a 1,400-kilometre round trip to the gold mines at the remote centre of Wiluna.
I would be so nervous passing this thing.
Driver Garth Riley
I guess I'd be more nervous driving in front of it.
heads the great
Don't
beast
slam,
out
don't brake check this thing.
and going is slow in the pulls as we leave the low coastal centre of Geraldton.
We're going to Wiluna from Geraldton up through Mikathara and out to the Gumbrell Highway out there to a place called Wiluna Gold Mines, and we're doing deliveries around there in the area.
Wheat trucks scurry back and forth, hauling the state's golden harvest to ships at Geraldton. The Kenworth is comfortable and quiet inside the cab as the powerful Cummins N14 meets the needs of the massive load.
We've sitting on roughly 85 kilometres, which is fairly good for the weight that we are, you know, up to close to 170 tonne. And
170 tons.
it seems to be doing it easy. It's not lugging or anything. Motor's running along at 1700 revs. So.
Okay, I have a stupid question because he's talking about tons. Is there a different, like a metric ton? Is that a stupid question, or is that a? You know what I mean? Like, I think of a ton as being 2,000 pounds. I don't know. Apparently there's a bunch of different tons. Long ton, metric ton, short ton. Oh, that's the United States one, is the short one. So that's even more weight than 2,000 pounds a ton.
That's doing it quite easy. It's good.
We come to the small wheat town of Mullewa. Garth has to drop off a drum of lubricant
I'd bring the kids outside and like wave to this thing. Like a parade.
to the Mitchell fuel depot. The wheat trucks rumble into the Mullewa silos to load. A Mac-powered double B double purrs past. An impressive outfit, but it can't handle the load the Mitchell truck does. Back on the road, the Kenworth heads out beyond the farming country now. What's the tri-drive like to drive?
I think with the tri-drive, it gives it a more smoother ride, but it's all airbag suspension. Parabolic springs on the front, but it's very smooth.
But there is one habit the driver needs to watch with tri-drive and super single tyres on the steer.
When you come up to a corner and you leap, as you come around a corner, you can't put the boot into it because the front axle is the power divider's locked in. It'll even if you turn the steering wheel, it'll still steer you straight across, straight ahead. You just got to back off a little bit as you're going around a corner. That's all. But apart from that, it's much the same. Just got to be a bit more on your gut.
Instructions unclear. I do not speak Australian that fluently.
When you, especially in the wet on the mud or anything like that, you can't just power around corners because you'll end up bloody going straight ahead.
And what's the four-trailer road train
I
like
could imagine if you're even going at all fast around a corner, the back end could just totally flip you over.
to handle?
Trailers are all airbag suspension, all with lift axles, all tries, chill tyres. Tracks very well, even better than a normal triple road train. It seems to follow itself better.
Why is that?
I think it's more turning points, pivot points, articulations. It seems to follow itself better. You drop off the bitumen and you come back on a bit too hard. She seems to follow you back on. She doesn't whip around like a third trailer. Third trailer on a triple.
I do wonder what the top speed is on this thing. They don't seem to be going very fast.
She'll whip herself around a bit, but this setup seems to be really very smooth.
Just near the township of Mount Magnet, the Geraldton Road meets the Great Northern
I
Highway.
bet you can't go very fast, huh? Because, like I said, the time to stop would just be ungodly if you were going very fast.
Here, the Mitchell Fuel road train turns northward. This afternoon readies to turn to night.
Every time I see the BP logo, I just think of that. I'm old enough to remember the BP oil spill. I don't even know if you guys know about that. In the Gulf of Mexico. That was a big deal over here.
Mount Magnet is a mining town and has ridden the booms and depressions of mining fortunes deep in Australia's outback. With the sun set, Garth Riley concentrates on getting to his destination before the sun rises once more.
We're going to mining operations and drillers, mainly.
Big deal. That really did a lot of damage to the BP brand over here in America.
Diesel is used for the mining operations at Wandaluna for gold mining. And the drillers, there's two drilling mobs I've got to deliver to. We've got two small deliveries there for their drilling rigs and their machines. But the majority of it's going to for the earth moving machines around the area.
And after a night on the road and a regulatory sleep time, we find ourselves at Wiluna Gold. Still
I didn't
before
even think about the amount of space to park this thing.
daylight, the miners come up from the underground and hose down their vehicle ready for the next shift. And on first light, Garth is checking his tankers and unloads, pumping diesel into the storage tanks. This procedure is carried out again and again as the morning becomes noon. The mining roads are not always designed for road trains the length of this
Oh
one.
my God.
But the skill of the driver sees the trucks snaking through seemingly impossible corners. Mining companies, drilling companies,
Imagine backing this thing up. They probably... Well, I was going to say they probably just don't back it up, but I feel like you would have to at some point. Maybe you just don't back it up.
and even a company that uses the diesel to make the explosive for the mines. Compartment by compartment, tank by tank, the fuel comes off. A quick
I bet
check
it feels totally different to drive that thing with all the tanks full compared to when they're empty.
of the N14 after
Maybe 100. How many tons was it? You lose like 100 tons of weight.
the grueling pull up from the coast. So why did Mitchell Fuel go with Cummins?
We decided to go with Cummins. They're a good motor, we haven't had any problems with them at all. We got an International, we got a Western style, and we just wanted to keep them all the same motor.
The N14 is an electronically managed engine. Just how are the electronics standing up to life in the outback?
Good, we haven't had any problems with electronics so far. We haven't had anyone stuck out in the bush with electronic problems.
With all
I
tankers
guess this is a Cummins ad, which is fair enough. I'm happy to watch a Cummins ad.
empty, it's time to head back towards
Maybe it's a BP ad. I can't.
Geraldton. How does Mitchell Fuel run
Well, actually, I guess it's a Mitchell Fuel ad because they keep saying that.
driver shifts to maintain utilisation of the high capital investment in these trucks?
It's about a 1,400k round trip.
What did he just say? A 1,400k round trip? You talking about money? 1,400k?
To maintain utilisation of the high capital investment in these trucks.
It's about a 1,400k round trip.
I assume he's saying kilometers.
Offload in 4 different places and then lift all the axles up and come home as quick as we can. The next bloke jumps in and he does the same thing. They keep the trucks working pretty well, non-stop, 7 days a week. As soon as the driver gets in,
They actually are going pretty fast now.
the driver, a fresh driver, he'll hop in and he'll go up the road.
We drive into the second night. Around midnight, we get back to the depot. Garth refuels and washes the prime mover before heading off to his family and home.
Every trip kept clean. A new driver will jump in and he'll take the truck up the road. And they just keep it working on it, so that the trucks never really cool down. They're pretty well going all the time.
Going all the time to keep the energy up to the ever-hungry export industries of Western Australia.
Damn. I enjoyed that. I like just seeing those huge road trains. They're pretty miraculous. I really am curious about what kind of training you need to drive one of those things. That was fun. Thanks for suggesting that, Vincent. That was really cool. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow, I think. Goodbye.